Hello? Hello, hello. All right, the title of today's discussion is called Quantum Shifting 101, The Death of the Old Self. Okay? And so let me give you a little intro. I usually don't do intros, I'm going to do one today. What if I told you the version of you that's been praying, manifesting, and fighting to become better is the very one blocking your evolution? What if the goal was never self-improvement, but self-erasure? The death of everything you've believed yourself to be. In this discussion, we're not talking about changing your habits or your mindset. We're talking about dismantling the illusion of identity itself. We're diving into the death of the old self, the ego that clings to its past, its wounds, and its stories, and entering the realm of quantum identity shifting, where reality bends to the being you choose to remember yourself as. This is the holiest of self-destruction. You are not here to fix the human. You are here to resurrect the divine. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about. Quantum shifting. Oh my gosh. All right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And good evening, my beautiful people, my gods, my goddesses. All right. Before a seed can become a tree, it must die to its form. So must you. Every version of you that was built on fear, scarcity, approval, and memory must return to dust before your true nature can rise. By the way, I realized that I basically gave a gem today earlier when we were doing the Q&A, and I was marking up the charts, and I was like, y'all see all these wicks down here? I would love to see price come down here. And even before I ended, I was like, somebody was like, I want to see a dump. And I was like, me too. That would be nice. And look what the market did. Went straight to what I was like, look, I'm not a signal service. But your boy knows what he's doing. All right. But anyways, I don't know if did anybody catch that? Did that pique anybody's interest when I said that? Or were y'all just not paying attention? Y'all didn't care. Y'all want your SPs back. Y'all just want your SPs back. Yeah, and so by the way, y'all, every time we do these lives, they're always streamed to TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. The YouTube does not get erased. So when this is done, you can go to YouTube, you can rewatch it. You can get the document, because this document, right, it's all on YouTube. So the affirmations, the intros, the reflection questions, the letters to self, all those things are on the YouTube. They are for you. They're for you. None of it is secret. Okay. None of it is secret. Okay. Cool. So here we go, y'all. So we're going to start off with some scripture. This is the first piece of scripture. Okay. I don't teach trading, y'all. I do psychology. I coach you on trading psychology, but I don't coach trading. You don't want to trade the way I trade. All right, so John 12:24. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. What does that mean? Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. All right, so before a seed can become a tree, it must die to its form. And we see this all throughout nature, right? We see the caterpillar building the cocoon, dying to its old self to what? Become the butterfly, right? Even a seed goes through this same transformation. One of the beautiful quotes is, the mystic is not scared of death because they die 1,000 times. I want you to think about your life, okay? What's up, trader? I want you to think about your life, okay? You have had women or men that you've dated, and those situations haven't worked out. And when they didn't work out, what happened? You mourned, okay? You had this quote unquote dark night of the soul type experience where you went into the darkness, into the solitude, and this represents metaphysically the womb, okay? So you stayed in that womb, and not only did you mourn the loss of that person, but you mourned the loss of a version of yourself that saw a future with them, right? You might have saw a marriage with them. You might have saw future plans with them. That version of you had to pass away, okay? And so now once you get over that, right, this new version of you emerges from this darkness, right? You have the tears representing that energy, that feminine energy washing over you, washing away that old version of you, and you emerge from the womb reborn. This is the story of the Christ, right, being crucified and resurrected. This is the story of the phoenix, this beautiful, majestic bird that sets its own nest, sets it on fire, goes in the nest, kills itself, and then reemerges as this beautiful, divine bird. Same story as Christ, right? Is crucified, died, buried. On the third day, he rose again in fulfillment of the scriptures, right? So all of these things represent this death and rebirth. We see it in nature. As we talked about, before a seed can become a tree, it must die to its form. Before the caterpillar can become a butterfly, it must die to its form. So we see the same cycle over and over and over and over again. All right? So must you. Every version of you that was built on fear, scarcity, approval, and memory must return to dust before your true nature can rise. Death in spiritual language, right? So when we read scripture, remember, this is a book of consciousness. So when you read it, we're talking about inner states of consciousness. We know there's no death. There's a physical transition because everything in this illusion has to fade away. But there's no true death. You can imagine anything that you can imagine you can have. The only thing you can never imagine is not existing. You could never imagine not existing. You could imagine darkness. But existence, existence is existence. Existence cannot be paired with non-existence. Okay? You've always existed. All right? Now here we go. Death in spiritual language. So when we read even scripture metaphysically, when we're talking about death and rebirth, we're not talking about a physical transition. We're talking about that metamorphosis, that dying of the old self. Right, so keep that in mind as we go forward. So death in spiritual language is not the end, it is a metamorphosis. The caterpillar dies, but the essence that dreamed of wings remains. Likewise, when you let the false self dissolve, you do not lose identity, you discover the eternal I am that was hidden beneath the mask. We ain't talking about self-improvement. We're not talking about self-improvement. All right? We're talking about a full quantum identity. And I know when y'all hear quantum, y'all start perking up. Quantum shift. You mean I can get my SP tonight? You already have them, right? Remember, in every moment, you are switching realities. Okay, let me slow down. All right? This is the example that I constantly give of reality. All right? I want you to think of reality like a film roll. If any of you have ever taken pictures with a camera or have a phone, all right, and took a video on it, you can go into the settings and you can change what's called the frames per second, FPS. Now, what frames per second means is a frame is a picture, just a still image, a snapshot, picture, all right? Now, when you watch video, right, me talking, it's like I'm in motion, okay? But what this motion truly is, it is a bunch of pictures shown sequentially so fast it looks like motion. So if you go to the movie theater, they're typically shot in 24 frames per second. So that means every second you see 24 pictures. What does this have to do with my specific person? I got you. All right, I got you. Sit your ass down. All right. So in this moment right now, you are in one single frame. Every single moment that you are in is simply a still image. You think you're moving through time, but you're simply moving through still images. The concept or the perspective that we have of time is what? Time is simply an experience that allows the mind to logically grasp the change from one experience to another. So you were in lack, right? The bills were due, right? And so now you decide I am prosperity. Okay? And so the mind creates this illusion of time as you go from frame to frame to frame. Each frame, if you've read Reality Transurfing, right? Each frame is so similar, could be so similar that you can't even perceive the difference, but every single moment is a different frame. So you step into prosperity. You are automatically in a new frame. in a new moment, on a new script, all right? It might not look different because it's beyond your perception, but it's new. And so you're constantly moving moment by moment by moment by moment. How many moments are in a second? Infinite. So you're constantly shifting between these different frames or screens, pictures of reality, until linear time gives you the illusion of moving through time to get to your desired destination. This is what time is. So when we say time isn't real, it's a real experience. It's how the logical mind conceives things. Okay? But it's not real in the sense of you just flowing through space. Okay? Cool. All right, so here we go. The mystics, when we talk about the spiritual death one more time, the mystics called this dying before you die. So here's a quote by Rumi. All right? It says, die before you die so that when death comes, you have nothing left to fear. I know you hear that. With your divine ass. You are not here to become someone better. You are here to remember who you were before you believed you were broken. This is the escape of the illusion, the escape from the illusion. All right? So let's get a little deeper. I feel like I cooked in this section. All right? The old self is addicted to memory. It prays to the past, worships its wounds, and calls it me. It says, I've always been this way, forgetting that always is just a story consciousness keeps retelling. How many people do we meet that are victims of their past? Right? Well, men are always like this. Women are always like this. The economy's always been like this. Money is like this. This is like this. The school system's like this. It's always this argument for their limitations. All right, so let's get into scripture a little bit. Ephesians 4:22 through 23. So Paul wrote, you were taught to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, and to be made new in the spirit of your minds. Now, when I was in church when I was younger, I read that and I was thinking, I'm corrupted by my deceitful desires. I'm thinking lust. I'm thinking greed, etc. Right? But like I say, read this from the metaphysical lens. Read this from the perspective of consciousness. Okay, what does this mean when we take a metaphysical look at it? Let's break it down. All right. So Paul's words speak to a spiritual metamorphosis rather than moral reform. The old self, or the old man, he refers to is not your body or personality. Right? We're not here just to change the personality. All right. But the false identity built on fear, separation, and memory. The self that believes it is limited, unworthy, and powerless. These deceitful desires are not just lust or greed, but the subtle cravings for validation, control, recognition that keeps consciousness asleep. To put off the old self is to stop feeding it your attention, to stop identifying with its stories, and to let it die a natural death in the light of awareness. To be made new in the spirit of your minds is to awaken to the divine consciousness that was never touched by sin or struggle. When we talk about sin, we're not talking about it from a moral perspective, from a human perspective. Right? The concept of sin, right and wrong, changes based on where you were born in the world, how you were brought up, what you're going through right now. If I'm going through it, I might not feel all that bad about taking what's yours. So even those things shift based on what we're going through, the situations. When we talk about sin, we're talking about missing the mark. We're talking about seeing yourself as less than God, as less than divine. All right? So it is the remembrance that you were never broken, only mistaken about who you were. This renewal is not achieved through effort, but through recognition. The moment you see yourself as God sees you. All right. So let's break that down, even when we talk about sin. All right. So the moment you see yourself as God sees you, whole, radiant, and eternal, the illusion of the old self collapses. You do not become someone new. You remember who you have always been. Well, sin, if you think about it from a moral human perspective, it's up to the individual. It's up to the institution. It's up to what you feel is right in the moment. right? I remember I was having this conversation with my mom, right? Not too long ago. We were just talking about, I don't know if I can say this word on, oh well, fuck it. We were talking about murder, all right? And so my mom was like, no, that's absolutely wrong. There's no case where it is good to take someone else's life. And, of course, me, I had to pop up on her shoulder. I'm the little devil on her shoulder. And I said, okay, well, what about, with me and my siblings, what about when we were younger? Let's say that someone came in to kill you and you're so morally upright that you say, fine. And now you leave us behind. And now no one takes care of us. And now the world's rougher for us. Do you believe that you did right? Well, so the thing is, somebody could say, sure, I still feel like I did right. Someone else could say, no, I don't feel like I did right. You could make justifications for both. So when we base this on our human perception, of course, it's muddy. You're swimming in muddy water. Shit is about as clear as mud. When we talk about sin from a metaphysical perspective, what sin stems from is the illusion of separation. The illusion of separation. Okay, now let me give you an example. Let's say that I want this money. Okay, I want this money. Man, I need, your boy wants this money. I have an urge for this money, a divine urge for this money. Now, if I feel separate from God, I think that I'm trying to get the money from out there. I might even feel like it's wrong to want the money. Look at all the other suffering in the world. I feel like I have to pray to something out there. I have to search for something out there to bring me that money. But when I understand that there is only one, there's no two. There's no God in me. There is only God. My voice is the voice of God. Your voice is the voice of God. Wherever, right? Whatever we hear from that silence is the voice of God. Now, my desire is what? The desire of God. There is no me. So now even that desire becomes holy. It simply becomes God looking to what? Experience itself through the vessel that we call myself. Okay? The vessel that I call me, per se. Right? All of these things stem from the illusion of separation. All right? So here we go. I think I already read this part. Yep. So when you begin to awaken, you will notice this strange grief. You'll mourn your old identity. The one that was always fighting, striving, proving. It will feel like losing someone because you are. But you're also remembering the one who was never lost. The ego doesn't die quietly. It will argue for your limitations. It will call you delusional for believing in your divinity. But truth needs no defense. When awareness stands as witness, illusion fades like mist at sunrise. Okay? Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so let's get into identity shifting. Okay, let's get right into identity shifting. Okay, so here we go. To shift identities is not to fake it until you make it, but to remember until you re-manifest it. Okay, it is a remembering of who you are. All right, you're not trying to become someone new. You're remembering who you have always been beneath the mask of identity. The mask of identity says, yeah, Alex, this is who you are. This is where you're born. This is how old you are. This is what you've earned. This is what your money looks like. All of that is the illusion. When the true self just is. The true self just is. Right? And so, yes. Right? So yeah. We can talk about missing the mark in that way. Right? We can talk about missing the mark in that way. Sin being missing the mark, which is what it truly is. The metaphysical meaning of sin is missing the mark. It still stems from separation, right? What do I mean by separation? Okay, let me be clear. So let's say that I have this goal of being prosperous financially. Now, if I ask 10 people what prosperity means to them, You can get 10 different answers. But let's say that I have this individualized desire to be prosperity. Now, what stops me from receiving that prosperity? Well, metaphysically, my refusal to accept that I'm already the person who's destined for that that's already who I am, causes me to what? Miss the mark. So when we talk about missing the mark, it's okay, this is who I believe that I am. Okay, now I have this divine desire for prosperity. And so instead of me stepping into this new version of me and accepting that, oh, the desire is the fulfillment, boom, and allowing myself to light up as that prosperity and walk through reality and experience myself, I'm still here. I'm not accepting that. I still see that desire as separate. I don't know where it came from. I'm not accepting that it came from the God within me. Right? So this illusion of separation right here leads to me missing the mark. So this is what I mean. Okay? Just to be clear. All right, so the mystics of every tradition knew this. When we talk about remembering who you are, the mystics of every tradition knew this. So the Gnostics wrote, this is from the Gnostic text, all right? When you make the two one, and when you make the inner as the outer, and the outer as the inner, then you will enter the kingdom. Motherfuckers put a tongue twister in that motherfucker. When you make the inner as the outer, and the outer as the inner, and the innie as the outie and up, right? So what does this actually mean? Let's break it down. All right, when you make the two one, the two one. The ancient Gnostics teaching reveals that the kingdom of heaven is not a distant paradise, which we know, right? We know it's not a distant place in the clouds, okay? This is one of the first things when we start looking at stuff metaphysically, it's getting out of the mindset, like stop treating God like Santa Claus. Like Santa Claus in the North Pole. The North Pole is heaven and heaven is in the clouds. The North Pole is in the clouds somewhere, and God has this naughty or nice list. And it's this distant being that sometimes answers and sometimes doesn't and leaves you hanging on other days. Right. But we remove that. This is a personal, intimate God that is so close to you, is closer than you are to your damn self. Whew, closer to you than you are to your damn self. All right. So the ancient Gnostic teaching reveals that the kingdom of heaven is not a distant paradise, but what? A state of unified awareness. To make the two one is to dissolve the illusion of separation between the seen and unseen. There we go. There we go. Heaven and earth, spirit and flesh, right? So 2 to 1. We constantly are in this world of duality. Right? Heaven and earth. God and me. My desires and me. My dreams and me. Right? So when we talk about this, when we just break it down, basically make the 2 to 1, this is when we collapse duality. Right? This is when we slice through duality. Okay? So to make the 2 1 is to dissolve the illusion of separation. I simply walk in to who I truly am. I'm not waiting to reprogram a mysterious subconscious. I'm not waiting to regulate some nervous system that's just doing its job to keep me safe, by the way. I'm not waiting for the next affirmation, for the next state akin to sleep, for my favorite YouTuber to drop a new sleep tape. I'm not waiting for the new manifesting masterclass for $9.99. Manifest like a boss with your divine ass. I'm not waiting for any of that. I'm deciding who I am right now. There is no separation. All right. So to make the 2 one is to dissolve the illusion of separation between the seen and unseen, heaven and earth, spirit and flesh. The inner world of thought and belief is the true cause, while the outer world is its reflection. I want you to think about this. This is actually interesting. Okay, this is actually interesting. So, isn't it incredible to think that this world that is just an illusion feels more real than reality? Reality is much more expansive, but this illusion seems Now, when you realize this, okay, and instead of looking at this as a problem, you see this as a divine opportunity. You say, oh my God, if this is just the illusion, what can I create from reality? When you stop being confined by the illusion, which is simply created to allow you to forget to learn who you are. When you stop being so drawn and sucked into this illusion, and you realize that no, reality is more real, it just sometimes doesn't seem as real. Now you can actually play. Now you can actually have fun in this life. Now you can experience life like the God that you are. You can experience life like the God that you are. All right. So the inner world of thought and belief is the true cause, while the outer world is its reflection. When you align the two, when your inner conviction and outer expression become one seamless truth, you enter the kingdom, a realm where manifestation is instantaneous because division no longer exists. The mystics understood that harmony between the inner and outer is the secret of divine power. When your inner state contradicts your outer actions, you live in duality and call it struggle. But when your heart, mind, and behavior reflect one vibration of truth, reality bends to meet it. Now, that can sound confusing. I get it. Sometimes I say confusing shit. So I'm going to break this down in more plain English, all right? When your inner state contradicts your outer actions, you live in duality and call it struggle. What does that mean? When I decide on prosperity, okay, the external world might not show me prosperity, but instead of me simply being prosperity, rolling with the punches, flowing with life, knowing it's all working out for me, what am I doing? I'm resisting shit. I'm resisting. I am prosperity, but the moment I open my eyes, I turn into a completely different person. I'm clinging on to things. Oh, it has to be different so I can be prosperity. Oh, and nothing ever works out. And I'm wondering why things don't change. Resist nothing. Be who you want to be. Resist nothing. Let it all fade away. Give it permission to unfold perfectly for you. Give reality permission to unfold perfectly for you. All right? When your heart, mind, and behavior reflect one vibration of truth, reality bends to meet it. See, we're not talking about faking it. We're talking about remembering who you are. This is divine remembrance. From this point of power, guess what? I flow with everything. Everything is what it is all God. God can take care of itself. God can take care of itself. Reality can take care of itself. Because God is me and God flows through me and animates reality anyway. So all I have to worry about is me. All I have to worry about is me. I simply have to decide who I am and allow reality to do what it does. It can take care of itself. Give it permission to do that. All right? The kingdom is not reached by climbing, fighting circumstances, fighting emotions, fighting feelings. It is revealed by integration. It appears the moment you stop living as two, the one who prays for the blessing and the one who already is the blessing, and merge into the eternal I am where all opposites are reconciled. All opposites are reconciled. This is the science of consciousness before it was ever called quantum. Okay? Reality bends not to effort, but to embodiment. Right? That was the reading we did yesterday. Somebody says, well, I just have to think my way, think better thoughts to get a good reality. It was like, well, if you think that the mind is a magician, you're always going to be waiting for a trick, for a magic trick. If you think that you can just forcefully think your way to a better reality, guess what? You're just going to always be trying to force your way through things and looking out there, hoping that things change. This isn't magic. This isn't magic. You're not even your thoughts. You are who you decide that you are. This is a dying to the old self. This is a remembering yourself as God. Right? So reality bends not to effort, but to embodiment. When you assume the state of your desired self, you enter a new timeline immediately. Not because something outside changed. Something outside, it might not even look like it changed. but because you stopped observing through the eyes of the old self. Reality is not what it is, it's what you are. So as Neville Goddard said, right, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Let's pause right there. Take a deep breath. Change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. It's all about me. If I walk through life believing nothing works out, all I simply have to do is remember that I am the creator, I am God, and walk through life and know that everything works out perfectly. I simply need to change my conception of self. Simply. Okay? Every new state of being is a universe unto itself. When you remember who you are in God, you shift dimensions without moving an inch. You shift dimensions without moving an inch, without lifting a finger, right? So the sacred technology of I am, the sacred technology of I am, right? I am is the divine operating system of creation. Hear that. I am is the divine operating system of creation. Before the world was formed, before language, before name, there was only awareness declaring I am. Remember, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, the Word was God. Or the Word was God, the Word was with God. In the beginning was the Word. That was it. There was God. And the first manifestation of God was the Word. The word is I am. This is just God being aware. God just being aware. All that there is being aware, okay? When Moses asked for the name of God, the answer was, Exodus 3:14. What was the answer? You already know. I am that I am. I am that I am. So why? What does that mean? Well, some of the translations are I am what I am. What? What does that mean? I am that I am. How come God isn't like, I am God? Or not God, because God didn't say that shit. How come whoever wrote the Bible didn't say, I am God, Jehovah, blase, right? Because I am that I am is a blank check. It's a blank check. He says, I am what I am. I am whatever you say I am. I am is the Alpha. That is your identity right now. And I am is the Omega. The whole enchilada. Right? You are seated. You are seated in the center of reality, in the center of God, which is you. And guess what? You get to decide what you are. So when you say, oh, it's just not working out. Of all reality, I am that I am. Of all of God, you have chosen to be the victim. You have put on that mask. Whatever you decide, you can pick whatever perspective you want out of infinity. Because every version of you already exists within you. Right? You stand in the middle of all that you are, and you are decreeing, constantly declaring, this is who I am, and reality just shows it back to you. All right, so let's go a little bit further. Right, so every time you say I am, you set creation in motion. The quantum field, right? We can talk about the quantum field however you want. Quantum field, Akashic records, the kingdom, the universe, heaven, it doesn't matter. All these different words, same thing. All that there is, the quantum field responds not to what you wish for, but to what you assume yourself to be. Right? I am wealthy, I am loved, I am guided. Okay, these are more than affirmations. They are commands issued from the throne of consciousness. Remember, when I'm talking about I am, I'm not just talking about what I declare my human physical body vessel to be. Let me hit rewind for a little bit. Okay, let me hit pause and let's slow down. Let's talk about I am. Okay. Think of reality this way. Right now, okay, you are at the center of reality. And I want you to think of every single person, place, thing as simply a reflection of you. Okay, let's simplify it and let's just say a reflection of you. All right? So when I declare that I am something, okay, remember there's only one thought. one God, one power. That one power, one awareness flows through everything. It's the fabric of reality. It's I am. I am is everything. Now, when I say I am prosperity, you guys have heard of the concept of thought transmission, I'm sure. All right? Somebody says, oh, I thought a thought, and the thought just popped up in somebody else's asshole. All right? That's not how it works. All right? So think of it like this. You decide I am prosperity. Since there is only one thought and you take the one perspective of I am prosperity, okay? When you decide that I am prosperity, okay? I am prosperity. The whole world begins to reflect that to you and prove that back to you. This is all thought transmission is that everybody is simply a reflection of you. Okay? Don't project that. Don't project that. They don't have to do shadow work, right? They don't have to do shadow work. Let's not make this a complex process, all right? So I am that I am. When I decide I am prosperity, now everything reflects that immediately to me. Everything. All right? When I decide I am lack, everything reflects that back to me. Okay? So I'm constantly in this state where I'm declaring things, decreeing things, and reality is just responding. That is all thought transmission is. It's simply the reflection. It's simply the mirror of reality showing me who I am being. That's it. That is it. Okay? So the more you dwell in your new identity, the less you will recognize the old one. That is the resurrection, the rising of your awareness into its true station. All right? As you don't need all the fluff to understand this. Okay, you're not here. Like, if you want to learn a whole bunch of stuff, sure, we have those discussions, but you are here to change your reality. Okay, when we start going down the path of shadow work and subconscious reprogramming, all that is putting a middleman between you and God. There is no middleman between you and God. You don't have to go down a path of rewiring anything or doing this shadow work. For you are God. You are all that there is. Right? Don't put these boundaries in it. Right? You have no limitations. Let other people argue for their limitations. You have none. Right? I just don't want y'all to get pulled off a track. You can have the life of your dreams right now. You can wake up to new numbers in your bank account. You can wake up to new text messages. You can wake up to you can wake up in a life of your dreams tomorrow simply by accepting that you are that person right now. But the moment that you decide, I got to do these things first. I got to do shadow work and reprogram and regulate the nervous system and talk to the priest and affirm for 10 days and go on a 40-day fast. You are simply casting off who you are, who you want to be to the future. That's all you're doing. You don't have to do that. Okay? You don't have to do that. All of those things are simply limitations. That's all they are. They are limitations. Okay? Yep. Tomorrow you can have 10K. You can have 20K if you want. All right? You can have 20K. All right. So to dwell in your new identity is to anchor yourself in divine remembrance. Each time you choose faith over fear, truth over memory, and vision over circumstance, you give life to the self that already lives in alignment with God. This is remembering and reassembling the parts of your being into their original divine order. As you persist in this awareness, the old self begins to fade like a dream upon waking. The familiar thoughts that once ruled you lose their gravity, for you are no longer orbiting their world. This transformation is resurrection. Not in a future tomb, but in the present consciousness. To rise into your true station is to remember that the I in you was never crucified. Only the illusion of separation was. The moment you refuse to descend into doubt or fear, you rise in quote unquote frequency and identity, inhabiting the mind of Christ. The mind that knows only unity, abundance, and eternal life. Resurrection is not an event. It is a state of being that begins the instant you stop answering to your former name and start responding to your divine one. The moment. The moment. All right. Next, dying daily. Okay. Dying daily. To live in God consciousness is to die daily. Every morning you lay to rest an outdated version of yourself. Every morning, right? Every morning you get to get out the bed. You get to what? Put on the glasses to decide this is who I'm going to be today. This is the perspective that I'm going to have today. Okay? You can decide to be the anxious one, the doubtful one, the small one, the divine one, the godly one, the prosperous one, the one of love. You get to decide. You die to your history and awaken as the eternal witness again. So 1 Corinthians 15:31 says, I die daily. Straight up, I die daily. All right, so let's break down this Rumi quote. This Rumi quote says what? Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form. Anything you lose comes around in another form. Let's break that down. Let's break that down real poetically, okay? Rumi's words remind us that loss is never final. It is transformation disguised in motion. What leaves your life was never truly lost, only shifting its form to meet you in a higher frequency. When love departs, it may return as wisdom. When opportunity fades, it reappears as alignment. The divine never subtracts without multiplying elsewhere. This truth frees you from clinging, for you begin to see that every ending is a rearrangement of the same eternal substance, consciousness expressing itself in new attire. To live by this knowing is to trust the unseen circulation of life. The universe is a closed loop of grace. It's a closed loop of grace where nothing real can ever vanish. The more you release, the more you allow spirit to flow unimpeded through you. This is the art of surrender, right? It's not giving up. Right? It's not giving up. It's recognizing who you are. There's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing to cling to. Because I am everything already. Right? And so you open yourself up by simply remembering who you are, relaxing into that knowing, being present, and you simply allow the God that you are to flow through you. So you can experience more and more of yourself. All right. So this is the art of surrender. Every closed door, every goodbye, every seeming loss is a cosmic transaction in which your soul trades what has expired for what is eternally alive. Beautiful, right? The death of the old self is not loss, it is liberation. The suffering was the catalyst that proved you could fly. And no, it's not a book. It's just a document. I'll upload it to YouTube. So if you want it, you can check it out. You can get it on YouTube. Right? But it's free for you because I love you so much. All right? You don't need to fight the old you. You don't need to fight the old thoughts, the old feelings, the old you. You only need to stop breathing life into it. And guess what? The more that you fight it, what are you doing? You breathe life into it. Right? What did Buddha say? Resistance is suffering. Resisting anything is suffering. You're clinging to it simply by trying to resist it, by holding on to it. All right? Simply know that you already are who you decide to be and allow life to be what it is. Allow it to rearrange itself. Exactly, Shelly. It always comes back to what? Be still and know that I am God. Cease striving is really the translation that I love of the be still and know that I am God. The Psalm 46:10. Cease striving and know that I am God. Cease striving and know that I am God. Beautiful. Starve it of attention and it will fade back into the nothingness it came from. You are powerful enough to choose a new reality to reappear. You are powerful enough to let go of a new reality or let go of a reality and allow it to fade to dust. Okay? Beautiful. So the birth of the divine human. What rises from that death is not an improved human, but a remembered God. Right? We leaving the human, we leaving the ego behind. We're not trying to improve the ego. We ain't doing the shadow work and all that shit. We're not trying to improve the ego, okay? We're coming into divine remembrance of who we are. The new identity is not built, it is revealed. You realize you have never been separate from source. You were simply dreaming as someone small. Yo, wild, man. Yo, wild. You realize you have never been separate from source. You were simply dreaming as someone small. Okay. Cool. So a couple reflection questions, that I got a love letter, and then I've got some affirmations for y'all. All right. And then we'll do questions. I'll let y'all get off whatever y'all got in your chest. Even though I already know y'all gonna talk about your SPs. I already know. You're gonna ask me the same questions y'all asked 3 days ago about your same SP. Well, Alex, today I got you though. All right, so reflection question number 1. All right. Which identities? I got you. I got all of y'all, right? You know, cause I love y'all. All right. So which identities am I still holding on to out of fear or habit? Fear or habit, right? Allow these questions to give yourself permission to think about these questions, right? Because this is the magic of this space, right? Once you identify the blind spot, guess what? When your awareness is on it, you're healed. You don't have to work through it. You don't have to reprogram it. Your awareness is on it. Now it's simply a choice. Now your remembrance is simply proof that, hey, I'm in a new reality. I couldn't even be aware that this was something that I was doing that I don't want to do anymore if I wasn't right now a new version of myself. So it becomes divine proof. Okay? Cool. So number 1, which identities am I still holding on to out of fear or habit? Maybe you're a hoarder of money. The question, so the document's gonna be, I'm gonna repeat it, but don't catch a writer's cramp. All right, don't catch a writer's cramp trying to write too fast, right? Because all these documents are on YouTube, so they're all for you, all right? So you can always download them after the fact. But the question is, which identities am I still holding on to out of fear or habit? Okay? When I say right after, you know what I mean? Like, right after in a little bit of time. All right. Which identities am I still holding on to out of fear or habit? Okay. Are you a hoarder of money, perhaps? Are you constantly thinking the worst about relationships? Men are like this, women are like this. Are you tired of being proven right? Are those things like, here's another, let me remix this question. Okay. Let's say, what beliefs am I holding on to that I no longer want to experience? Why? Okay. So what beliefs? Yeah, I like this question more. What beliefs am I holding on to that I no longer want to experience? Why am I holding on to them then? It's such a good question because when we start questioning our beliefs, we'll call them limiting beliefs, but a lot of times it's because we've held on to beliefs so long that we've just never questioned them. Well, if I want a good marriage, let's say I want this beautiful, loving relationship, but I think all women are a certain way. All right. Now, when I really start questioning, okay, why do I believe that? It's like, well, I've had 3 experiences and a bunch of people on the internet were yelling at me, telling me that this is how women are. And now my algorithm has changed on the internet. So now every time I scroll, I just see the same type of women. All right. Well, of course. So it's like, okay, well, do you want to believe this? No, because it's not in alignment with what I want. All right. Yeah, he had three. Well, it's really two and a half. Two and a half women. Right. But do you really want to believe that? If not, then why are you holding on to it? Because our assumptions are a choice. Right? Our assumptions are a choice. Like, we'll get into that. All right, so number 3, because I just did 1 and 2. Number 3, what would I stop doing today if I fully embodied my divine self? Right? We're checking out of this human way of thinking. Oh, but this is just how they are. This is just how it is, Alex. We're checking out of the human way of thinking. You're getting to your divine self. It's never how it is. It's always how I am. I get to decide. I have final say so. I always have final say so. All right? What would I stop doing today if I fully embodied my divine self? What would it be? What would you stop doing today if you fully embodied the divine self? Would it be, maybe you would stop being so tight about money? Maybe you would stop trying to think 10 steps ahead financially in a negative way. Always thinking that, bro, something's going to happen that's going to ruin this little stack of money that I've built up. Maybe you'll stop thinking that every time you leave that woman's side, she's going to do something. Maybe you'll stop thinking that every man you meet is going to ghost you. What would you do? Maybe you would just breathe more. Maybe you would be a little bit more present. Maybe you would actually enjoy life a little bit more, right? I can't tell y'all how many good relationships, good ass women like I've had in the past that like before I just became conscious, I was just never present with them. I can't tell you. I was just never present with them. And then the switch to being present, now all of my relationships are just wonderful. Presence, okay, let's break it down like this because I'm about to have a whole side speech. Presence is gratitude. Okay, we think of gratitude as like just conjuring up some fake feeling and, oh, I'm just thankful for the money that I don't have. But you know what true gratitude is? It's actually being present with whatever's in front of you. It's holding a conversation and being involved in the conversation, being immersed in the conversation. Your mind's not running to, oh, did I leave the oven on? Your mind's not running to, oh shit, when are they gonna shut up? You are in the conversation. Right? It's when you're driving. It's being, right? And here's another thing, right? Because I always get this, like, how do I just know? How do I just know things are mine? The question I want to constantly ask y'all is I want you to think of your name right now. I'm saying, okay, you know that's your name, right? Yes. Explain the knowing. Explain to me the knowing. Explain the knowing that you have of your name. Define the knowing as it pertains to your name. Well, but you sitting here asking me how I don't know how you know, you just know. You make a decision to know. You make the decision to know. Right? All right, that's what you referred to as? Okay, cool. So when I start referring to you as stuff, that's just how you know who you are. Because I've been telling y'all that y'all's prosperity, y'all have your SPs for the longest time, but you still don't know that. But now it's based on what you know because other people tell you that. Okay. All right. I hear you, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that shit. All right? So, next one. Okay, next one, number 4. How would my relationships change if I no longer needed to be the old me? How would my relationships change if I no longer needed to be the old me? Exactly, a mere assumption. A mere assumption. How would my relationships change if I no longer needed to be the old me? If I was no longer addicted to that old version of myself. Divorce? I know you're talking about the old version of you, divorcing the old version of you, so I will agree with that. I know that's what you're talking about. All right, so I got a love letter for y'all. Okay, love letter for y'all, and then some affirmations, then we'll do questions. Okay? Here we go. All right, this is a letter to me, but hear it as a letter from you to you. Okay? And allow it to just be present with it. Allow it to do what it does. Okay, just be present with it. All right, beloved. You are not who you once were. It's your higher self speaking to you. This is the version of you that you want to be. The version of you that you truly are right now. You no longer want to be this version. This is who you are right now, no matter what. Okay? No matter what. Okay? Beloved, you are not who you once were. The self you built from fear, survival, and memory has served its purpose and can now return to dust. Let it go. The world you knew was only a mirror of that old identity, and it too will fade. But do not be afraid of the unraveling. Every death is a doorway. Every ending is a silent resurrection waiting for your recognition. You have died before, countless times, to friendships, to failures, to identities you thought you could not live without. But look at your divine ass. Here you stand, more alive, more infinite, and more you. That is proof enough that who you truly are cannot perish. The essence that watches change is changeless. You are that awareness. You are that life. You are that I am. From this moment on, stop seeking yourself in yesterday's reflection. The mirror of the past no longer holds your image. Stand in presence and see. You are already whole. Let the mind steal long enough. Let the mind steal long enough to feel the quiet pulse of divinity within your breath. That is the sound of resurrection. Not thunder, not trumpet, not the sky parting, but stillness realizing itself. God recognizing God. Walk as the risen one. Speak from remembrance. Think as the creator and not the created. Let your words shape worlds. Every thought, every assumption, every declaration from your I am is a decree of heaven clothed in human form. You are the meeting place of eternity and expression. The altar where God remembers himself as you. The old self has died beautifully. Bury it with gratitude, not grief. And when you rise, rise in truth, in freedom, in the knowing that you are both the dream and the dreamer, the breath and the breather, the beginning and the end made one, right? With eternal remembrance, I am that I am, no matter what. No matter what. And of course, yeah, these docs are all on YouTube. Well, I'll upload them right when we get off this screen. Right when we get off that screen, okay? I am that I am, right? No matter what, no matter what. So I got 8 affirmations for y'all. Okay, remember, you're not trying to be these, okay? You're remembering that this is who you've always been. This is a divine remembrance of who you've always been, okay? Number 1, I die to illusion and awaken as eternal truth. I die to illusion. I die to the illusion out there. I die to the illusion of the past, to the old identity, to what people called me, to who I think I am, thought I am. And now I awaken as eternal truth. I awaken as eternity. Okay? My being is not defined by time, but revealed through timeless presence. My being is not defined by time, but revealed through timeless presence. Here we go. Each breath is the word made flesh. creating worlds within and without. Each breath is the word made flesh, right? Creating worlds within and without. Next. I am the divine awareness through which God beholds himself in form. Ooh. I know you like that one. I am the divine awareness through which God beholds himself in form. Yeah, I know. That one felt good. That one felt good to remember. Okay? Next, the shadows of my old identity dissolve before the light of knowing. Ooh, another one. The shadows of my old identity dissolve before the light of knowing. They have to. They have to, right? They have to. All right, next. In every instant, I rise again as the pure essence of consciousness. Two more. What I assume in faith becomes law. What I assume in faith becomes law, for creation obeys recognition. Creation obeys the recognition of who you recognize yourself to be. Creation obeys your recognition of yourself. Speak to yourself as if you're speaking to God, because you are. What I assume in faith becomes law, for creation obeys recognition. Okay? And last but certainly not least, right? I live not as one who seeks God. But as God's awareness, realizing itself as I am. I live not as one who seeks God. That identity is long gone. Right? I live not as one who seeks God, but as God's awareness realizing itself as I am. I am that I am, right? No matter what. I am that I am, no matter what. No matter what. All right? So that was this discussion. It was called Quantum Shifting 101, the death of the old self, right? We're not talking about, in any of these discussions, we're not talking about changing the person. We're not talking about messing with the ego. We're not talking about messing with the little I, with that small self, right? We're talking about that divine recognition that I'm all that I'm everything. I'm not my personality. I'm not the ego. I am greater than that. I am all that there is. This is divine recognition of who you have always been. This is allowing all illusions to fade away and be divinely reborn like the phoenix into who you truly are. Right? I am that I am. I am that I am. Yeah, not the little one. Not the little one. Some of y'all be confusing me in these comment sections. Some of y'all confuse me. Man, I love y'all. So anyways, what do y'all want to talk about? What y'all want to talk about, man? Huh? What y'all got in y'all minds? Ask away. The ego is a battle. I would say don't fight it. would say do not fight the ego. I would say let it be what it be, right? Let it beg, let it kick, let it scream, and still you manifest the life of your fucking dreams. Still walk into the life of your dreams, even when your ego is screaming, kicking, crying. Right? Screaming, kicking, crying. It's about time, Jay. It's about goddamn time. Why did I refer from scripture? Because I like scripture. I think it's a good way to talk about reality creation. I love scripture. But I mean, I quote a lot of spiritual texts. But I've had that quote, interestingly enough, I've had kind of that pushback on a lot. Like, why do you talk about scripture? Why can't you talk about this or that or that or this? I'm like, well, I mean, that's your perspective. You want to do that, you go ahead and you can make a video on it. But I wanted to make a video on this, so I did. Right? But I talk about all kinds of scriptures. I go into several texts. It's just this text was specific on scripture. And then I just used some quotes from mysticism. Rumi. Rumi's Sufi. You know? Rumi was a Sufi. Yeah. But yeah, we've went into several texts. When do the echoes of the old reality stop? Maybe today, maybe never. All right. So it doesn't. So the true answer is it does not matter. The true answer is who are you being right now? The moment that we are asking those kinds of questions, right? When is my old reality finally gonna leave? That is us. That is simply us still worshiping that separation. I'm still perceiving myself as separate. Right? It's already faded away because I already am who I decided to be. Okay? The more that you can dissolve the illusion of separation between you and reality, the better off you'll be and the quicker things are going to show up in your life. But when we're constantly thinking that it's me right here trying to survive and struggle through a version of reality I don't want, I'm trying to hold on to this seemingly impossible version of myself until reality finally conforms. Man, that's the struggle right there. We're constantly trying to swim upstream instead of simply riding the current, allowing reality to do what it does, which is it unfolds to be you. It unfolds to see you, to be you. Exactly. If it stopped, you wouldn't. Exactly. Like the answers are always in the questions. They're always in the questions. And then how do you get past the old identity with a 3D mirrors at times? Is there a lag? No, there's no lag. Your identity. Okay. So I don't base manifestations on the external reality. Because that implies time. Okay? That implies time. What you do when you are waiting on the external reality to change, to give you what you want, what you are doing is you are sitting down here and you're constantly staring and you're saying, prove to me that I am who I decided to be. Instead, I base my manifestations on me. I have the desire for prosperity. I decide on prosperity. I decide I have this. I'm that identity instantly. Okay, reality can't validate me. It can't prove anything to me. So when I decide that I am it, and because reality is just me, it then conforms to me. Okay, it then conforms to me. But the more that I see separation, is there a lag? Is there this? I don't know. I'm already in my dream reality. When will you stop waiting for reality to show you something and just finally live in your dream reality? Is talking in third person good or bad? Don't matter. It don't matter. Other people might judge you and call you crazy, but I'm not going to judge you. And God's not judging you because source, God, that who is you, already knows what you're asking for. You receive the desire from God. So the most important thing isn't in how you're asking, right? How you affirm, how you visualize, none of that shit matters. God is you. God is you, right? So God gave you the desire. This is God wanting to desire something through the vehicle that you call me or you. That's it. The only thing that's important is you accepting that it's true right now. I don't care if you're visualizing black and white and color. I don't care if you affirm in first person, third person, second person. Don't care. Doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. All of those things are placing conditions on what is unconditional within you. You're unconditionally it. Unconditionally, right? So you are it even before you were affirming or visualizing or any of those things. You have been it. You could not have the desire if you weren't the perfect match for it, because that's how God what? Placed it in you. You were a perfect match for it, and you got the desire placed in you. That's it. What do I think of the Bible? It's cool. It's cool. It's lots of books are cool though. Good, Serena. Good, Serena. And celebration, pagan holidays, good or bad. Good and bad is relative, right? It's a human perception, right? I can talk to 10 different people. They're going to give me 10 different answers. Which one's right? Which one's wrong? They're all right, right? If I say it's bad, then it's bad. If I say it's good, then it's good, right? I do not. The one truth that I abide by is I am. That's it. It's I am. Everything else, okay, is simply a human perception. I want you to think about how many different perceptions of God, perspectives of God are there. Even like the Bible, right? Like Christians, where there's like 40,000 different versions of quote unquote Christianity around the world. It's Jesus Christ, literally. Right? So when you think like that, which ones are true, which ones aren't? Well, if we think about it from the perspective that everything is I am, and we're all simply what? Trying to get a different perspective of God. They're all right. All of them are right in their own way. And I want you to think about truth this way, okay? Think about truth this way. What you assume to be true will be reflected to you. So if I assume that I can't go out there and trick or treat because it's evil, just me saying that and making a concession and going out with my kids or whatever to go trick or treat and now feeling guilty about it is going to be reflected in my reality, and I'm going to suffer from it. Why? Because of my belief. Because I'm going to believe I'm getting punished for it. Well, I knew God said this. And you could get in a little fender bender a month later. You're going to be like, oh, I knew it was a sign, right? I was just thinking about that time I was trick-or-treating and I got into this car wreck and I just knew it was a sign. Was it? Of course it was. Because you decided that it was. But if I wanted to, I could pick up 2 big-ass bags and go guilt-free, skipping down the fucking street and trick or treat my ass off. No consequences. Why? Because I don't see a problem with it. Because I do not see a problem with it. Right? I think when we do try to, and I get it, right, is that spirituality and religion is typically the foundation of our lives as people, as humans, right? We are beings that love to worship. We're beings that love to look for something outside of us to surrender and submit to. Fine. Okay? It's how we're programmed. But a lot of even the talk about holidays purely comes from spiritual ego. It's one man trying to say that they know better than another. Right? And spiritual ego trickles into a lot of things, right? You'll see politicians being like, pick this person because this is the pick of God. Who the fuck told you that? Like, right? Like, so it's spiritual ego bleeds into so many parts of our life where we start thinking, oh, my view is better than yours. I am more righteous than you. Follow me if you want to get to heaven. Right? People try to monopolize God or turn God into a business. Right? When it's not. Spirit is everything, all at once, experiencing itself through infinite different perspectives. And all of our perspectives will be proven right. This is why if you start debating about religion, I could pull out 10 reasons in my life why I have been confirmed and my religious views have been validated. And somebody with an opposite view can pull out 10 reasons their belief had been validated as well. Why? Why? Because I hold it as my truth. Therefore, it must confirm. Now, why this is important to even talk about is because everything represents everything. We cannot say our beliefs create our reality in one area and then say, no, except for this. Except for this. Your beliefs create your reality in every single aspect of your life. If right now I were to believe that I have to pay debt for past life karma, I'm going to walk through life and I'm going to hit these stumbling blocks where reality is just going to seemingly slap me in the back of the head and I'm going to say, shit, past life. I knew it. Or I'm going to walk through a certain time of the year. I'm going to say, fuck, the retrograde. It got me again. The karma. It got me again. All these things, they got me again. I will constantly just be walking through these landmines. Why? Because of my beliefs in them. It is my beliefs. Am I saying that these things are good or bad? That's up to you to decide. I can't make that decision for you. What I am saying is that your beliefs are powerful. You get to choose what you're going to believe in. You don't have to check out a certain beliefs. If it's something that allows you to live a fulfilling life, then by all means, follow it. If the life that you want to live in is like, okay, well, I love being affiliated with this zodiac sign. I love identifying as a Scorpio. I love it. And it empowers me and it pushes me into these beautiful relationships. Cool. Do it. But if it doesn't, then why am I holding on to it? Right? That's always the question. You can have whatever label you want. You can identify with whoever you want. But if it does not lead you to having the life that you want, why are you holding on to it? What is the attachment for? And when we start asking that question, we'll find that a lot of the things that we believe in aren't even things we just dug into and started to believe off of research. It might have been something that we believe in because this belief's been passed down to us by a family member or by a friend, or we heard a teacher say it, or we've just believed in it so long we stopped questioning it. We just absolutely stopped questioning it. We took it as absolute truth. So even when we talk about limitations, limiting beliefs, they're typically not things hidden from you. Your beliefs aren't hidden. You know of your beliefs. There just might be certain things you've held on to for so long you don't even question them anymore. That's why this path of knowing that your source is so powerful, because it allows you to take that full accountability. A lot of times we'll sit here and we'll be like, man, I can't get this specific person. I can't get this money. But we don't confront the deeper general beliefs we have. Sure, you're trying to believe that this woman or man can do right for you. But underneath it all, every time you see a man, every time you see a woman, in your mind, you say, boy, these men ain't shit. These women ain't no fucking good. That's what you're saying every time you see them. And you wonder why that's constantly reflected in your reality. Because that is the core foundation on what you're trying to build on. You're trying to build on this foundation that men are shitty, except for this one that you hope and pray will be different from the rest. All right? So we have this divine opportunity to evolve, right? To start to prune away those old beliefs. Anything that implies I am not who I desire to be, I get to remove it. I get to push it to the side. Right? And you'll see that the more that you prune those things like that, right? And it's not reprogramming. This is simply a recognition and an instant realization. My awareness is on it. It's done. I am perfect. I am divine. I am the source. I get to decide whatever. This is not reprogramming. This is remembrance in the moment. This is not work. This is a game. This is a beautiful game that you get to play. And the more that you start doing this, right, the more that you prune those old beliefs, get that one away, get that one away, your life reflects immediately. Immediately. There is no delay. Your life immediately reflects this. Immediately. Right? Cool. And then do you have to be specific? Okay, oh, my bad, I missed one. Yeah, and you can get the. I already responded to that one. Yeah, you can get the document. I'll upload the documents to you too for sure. Apply for a promotion. I know it's mine. My imaginal acts have come to mind without effort or thought. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Right? That's what I'm talking about. Right? It's already yours. Right? It's simply yours because you said it. Right? Now, what I love about that is, right, let everything be proof of it. Yeah, the imaginal acts are coming up automatically. Proof. I feel good about it. Proof. I don't feel good about it. Well, that's just the ego hating because it knows I'm about to get it. Proof. It's taking them a little bit more time because they're trying to make sure that they give me the right price so I don't turn their ass down. Everything becomes proof. Everything becomes proof for me. All right? Everything. What's up, Miss Maria? What's up, my love? Do you have to be specific with your desires, such as naming a specific amount of money, or can you just manifest overall wealth and abundance? Overall wealth and abundance. You don't have to be specific. Remember, the one that gave you the desire is the one granting you the desire, right? This is why even scripture says, take no mind, right, in thinking. What shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? For your Father in heaven already knows you have need for these things. I don't have to worry about needing 3 chickens and 2 hot dogs and $500.43. Source already knows and will do it exceedingly and abundantly because it is me, right? This is what I want. This is what I really want to say. I am, right? God, awareness, consciousness is not moved by the specificity, or the vagueness of your request. It matters not. It does not matter. Everything is proof. Absolutely. Because why? Because you get to decide if it's proof. Like everything is proof of something to you. I want to think about that. Okay. Everything is proof of something to you. For some people, they're going to see how I've been manifesting my SP and I saw them walking across the street and they were just looking a little too happy and I knew they were going to a woman. Really? You knew that shit, huh? Everything is proof. But we're always deciding what the proof is, what it means. We're the only ones giving it meaning. So who is the one saying, oh, nothing's happening? Oh, what if it doesn't look good? What do you mean, what if it doesn't look good? What do you say it is? Guys, we have to stop being slapped around by reality. Some of your reality is just coming in and giving you a mean ass backhand. Bow! You just not even fighting back. Damn, like do something. Stand up for yourself, please. Right? You get to decide what everything means. You're the only one who gets to decide what everything means. The only one. The only one. No one else is walking around with you saying, whispering in your ear and saying, hey, look, this means it's not working out. This means it's working. You always get to make up your mind. So why not make the beautiful story? We'll call it delusion. People will say, oh, well, that's delusion. Guys, it's all delusion. Everything that you think is delusion. Saying it's not working out is delusion. Saying it's working out is delusion. Saying nothing is happening when you only see one little room. You literally look out of reality. You only see the one little space that you're in. You don't see the rest of the world. And you say, oh, it's just not working out. That's delusional. You're delusional. How can you say nothing's working out when you can only see this one room? You're delusional. To say it's always working out and it looks like it's working out beautifully. It's all the same. I'm simply saying stop telling these stories that are against you. Accept that you have the desires for a reason. Accept that you have the desires for a reason. Knowing you have it all and being in stillness sometimes gets to feel like nothing will happen. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I would say, what are you defining as stillness, right? Because accepting that it's mine and then being in that stillness, that's when that's when that knowing washes over me that everything is happening. Like the present, even when I'm on here and I'm just flowing, like I have this knowing in the back of my mind that just everything is just working out. Like this is cool. Like people are getting helped. Everything is well. Everything is cool. When I'm sitting in meditation, everything is cool. When I'm on a walk, everything is cool. It's all working out for me. How could it not be? That is presence. That's the prayer of presence. It's the prayer of presence. Being still mentally, exactly. So think of stillness as presence, being in the present moment, right? So stillness would be eating and actually being focused on the food, right? It would be talking to my mother and actually looking her in her eyes and being consumed with her, right? It would be, shooting my shot with a woman when I see her out and being completely present with her in that moment. Not really thinking about, is she gonna reject me? Is she not? Is it gonna work out? Is it not? Are we gonna get married? Is she gonna ghost me? It just be being present in that situation, right? It's just reality is what it is right now, and whatever it is perfect right now. It's yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you always know, right? You always know. You always know. There's no need to doubt. And a lot of the times even the doubt just comes from our lack of being in the present. We're kind of swinging from like I'm always in the past thinking about things that went wrong or things I wish I could fix, and I'm always in the future like, oh, things when things get better, when this shows up, then I'll be happy, instead of just centering ourselves in the present and knowing that right now it is what it is and it's perfect. And God's handling itself right now. God is handling itself right now. That's typically when things just start flying into me. Is when I'm actually present. Right? When I'm just in this moment. That's when things seem to just be present. Or just flow into me. Y'all don't have any Halloween plans, or y'all don't celebrate pagan holidays? I used to love going out on in my little bit younger days. I used to love going out on Halloweens, like to the bars and stuff. It used to be so fun. I had a couple years where I was like, I'm checking out of this. It's all devil worship and yada yada. But I don't believe that anymore. I believe devil worship is me intentionally worshiping the devil. That's what I believe devil worship is now. But now I just don't do it because I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. I would like just go out and drive around and stuff, but I gotta wake up early because I gotta do some stuff with family. I gotta do some stuff with family. Doubt, you're right. Doubt makes no sense. Doubt makes no sense at all. It's an illusion. You've been trying to figure out life, knowing all this info. Shit been confusing. I've been there. Just keep going, right? Keep going. But this is the advice that I'm gonna give you, okay? Because even now, I still am a huge hoarder of information, right? I love to study. I love to research. I love to get more knowledge and stuff like that. I fiend for it, to be honest with you. However, In the pursuit of all that, remember that you are still worthy right now. Okay? You're worthy, the worthiness, right, that you are, the love that you are, the prosperity that you are is ingrained in your DNA. It's inherent. Okay? It's inherent, all right? So you could not be more or less worthy. You just are worthy, whether you feel it or not. So don't take the spiritual pursuit of the spiritual path or the path of seeking knowledge as when I get this knowledge, then I will be ready and worthy and in alignment with what I want. No, you're already there. Compartmentalized. This is simply the fun path. I enjoy the path of seeking knowledge, of getting information, of, studying all these spiritual concepts, but I'm already everything I desire to be right now. Right? Already everything I desire to be. So I used to feel bad for the stuff. Am I just seeking knowledge? Some days. But I seek knowledge a lot, yeah, for sure. I seek knowledge a lot, for sure. I mean, it's one of the central things, that I do. So, I mean, some days I'm consumed with it. Other days I'm chilling. But, yeah. And then would it be egocentric to think you are the God versus God? I mean, that comes down to everybody's definition. How I explain it is, I believe that saying that I am God is actually humility. Right? If I am the temple of God, if I'm the vehicle of God, the vessel of God, if I am the Spirit of God, right? Well, then I must speak every word that I speak with reverence. I must honor you and look at anybody that is in front of me with reverence. I must see them as God. I know that when I think, I am thinking as God. When I speak, this is the word of God, right? So I think that is actually a very humbling position for me to be in. My personal belief is that anything less than that is me disrespecting God. It's me saying that God can make something that's less than perfect, right? I consider it absolute blasphemy to walk around and call myself a sinner, or call myself something small, or call myself imperfect, or any of that. To me, that is the true blasphemy. Now, somebody can hear this and have different beliefs and say, at least you are the blasphemer. And I would say, you got me. Congrats, you got me, right? But it's all a matter of beliefs. But that is my belief. That is my belief. I'm not here to. So the thing is, right? You can, when it comes to the whole I am God versus I'm a human, I'm a sinner and imperfect versus I am God, right? There's so many different ways that we can break it down, right? I truly am. Why I'm so passionate about that is because it's a big part of my life. And that was the magic moment that clicked in my mind that allowed me to step into the reality that I am in right now, that I absolutely love, right? You might not need to accept that part, okay? It would be just as easy for you to walk into reality and say, I just am whatever I desire to be. Like, I'm the millionaire. I am this person. And you could still achieve that. It's just that for me, I don't just say that I am God in vocabulary alone. Okay, I don't say that I am God in vocabulary alone. When I speak that I am God, I'm saying it from the highest level. I am the Spirit of God, and the Spirit of God, I contain all aspects of the divine, right? I never have to worry about money because I am prosperity. I don't worry about health because I am health. I am abundance. I am all of those things, right? So to me, it's the declaration that finally got me out of this loop of trying, of striving, of waiting for something out there, and realizing that, no, I'm already the identity that has it all. So it served me well. And it's also allowed me to have this close connection with God that no other path could, right? I've studied a lot of religions. I grew up in the Catholic Church. I've done a lot of things, but this was the realization that changed my life. That's why I'm passionate about it. So, I respect other people's beliefs. I guess the only time that I do get my panties in a bunch is when people speak to me as if their truth or their belief is eternal truth, right? I'm speaking this. If you resonate with it, cool. If not, cool. But the moment that people are coming on here and they're like, oh, this is blasphemy, you're not God, yada, yada, you need to repent. And that's when I'm always just have a little something to say, right? Because that's when you're just dragging your ego into some other space and thinking that God did not show up in a big white robe in front of you and say, that guy, Alex, I need you to convert him for me. No, you're just repeating what your translation of God is to me and thinking that you are superior to me in your knowledge and your understanding of God, when we're all simply taking perspectives. We're all simply the wholeness of God, trying to experience itself from infinite perspectives. I don't miss Landon ass at all. Just for y'all saying that, them motherfuckers finna pop up now. Just for y'all saying that. Right. That's the whole thing. It's what loving and forgiving God would punish you, right? God, a loving God can't identify with anything outside of love, right? So it's, yeah. Ooh, wait. Art, what it do? Appreciate you, Shelly. How do you let the old self die? Sure, you let it. Exactly. Let someone else argue for their own perspective and limitations. Let others argue for their limitations. How do you let the old self die? You simply allow it. You simply allow it. Right? Because, how do you let anything die? Or you stop feeding it. You stop feeding it. You stop worrying when it's going to die. You just allow it to go. You allow it to fade away. That's how powerful you are. Worlds fade away. Worlds fade away when you let go. And worlds form when you decide, right? So dying to the old self is simply remembering who you are and standing firm in that remembrance, gently reminding yourself that you already remembered over and over and over again until just your presence becomes prayer. In the beginning of this journey, I had to remind myself a lot, all the time, constantly. And that was for a while, right? My reality was changing, of course, while I was doing it, but I was constantly reminding myself. It became the center of my life. The center of my life for a while was reminding myself, remembering that I was source. Oh, I am God. Oh, no, I am God. Oh, I'm God. Oh, no. Okay, that's cool. My emotions can be whatever, but I am God. And now my silence is prayer. I never forget. I never forget. Ever. I'm always aware that I'm God. I don't have to affirm it. It's just my identity. It's like my name. Even I don't think about it used to be when I didn't think about it, I would think I have to remember. Now I simply just know. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? And did I find it necessary to do shadow work? No. When I first got on the journey, yeah, I thought so. But that just led to me finding more shit to heal. Once you take on, remember, you can take on infinite perspectives of yourself. The moment I took on a perspective of trying to be somebody to heal, guess what? All this healing came out. Yeah, I went down the whole past life thing as well. I was trying to heal past versions of me. Until I sat up and I said, Alex, you are truly insane. Sit your ass down and rethink what you're doing. You don't have enough time in this lifetime to worry about infinite lifetimes. Is that what you really want to dedicate your life to doing? No. Why would God choose to do that? Well, God could choose, because God can choose whatever. But why would I want it? In the knowing that I am God, why do I want to choose to do that? I said, I don't. I don't want to choose to do that. So I took a different path, and it was simply remembering who I am. All right. Well, if I related to money and confidence, I would say, okay, well, look, even if I doubt, right? Okay, I am God. I am radiant. I am magnetic before any kind of conditions. Even if I walk in the room and I feel ashamed and I feel small and I feel like I'm standing awkward, I still am God and I'm radiant and magnetic without conditions. Me believing that because I feel a certain way about it, I'm not it, is me putting conditions on being what is unconditional. So the remembrance is, okay, well, I am prosperity. What about when the money's not there? Well, if me being prosperity is conditioned on when the money's coming, the money's not going to come because I'm making it conditional. So it's standing in the I am the unconditional manifestation of prosperity. I am money. I am confidence. And the more that I stood in that knowing, even when it didn't feel comfortable, the more that those feelings faded away. And they got less and less until the only thing that remained was me and hella money and hella confidence. That's it. But yeah, I used to stutter. I still stutter sometimes on these lives, but I do it with a little swag behind it, right? But I used to stutter terribly. I used to hate talking. Now look at me, yapping away, unscripted. Just ask a question. I can go for 13 minutes and 29 seconds if you let me. And then in what year did I start my awakening journey? I don't know. 2020 something or 20 something. 2000 and something. 2000 and something. I appreciate y'all. I treat Instagram like I just don't give a damn about it sometimes. I just open it up, hit play, and don't even go back to the comments. Let me check. Ain't nothing there. I don't know why my Instagram engagement is so terrible. I do know why. Instagram. I have the most followers on Instagram, and the worst reach of anywhere. I just don't put any kind of energy on Instagram. The Feminine Stanley. I don't give a damn what you say about it. I like it. I don't give a damn what you say about it. I love it. I would say Texas, though. It's not that feminine, bro. I should say Texas. I keep it on me, too. I travel with this hoe. Advice on how to overcome a physical ailment. Man, anytime it comes to physical ailments, I always say go study the placebo effect. Placebo, Placebo, placebo effect. So what it is like if a new drug or medication is going to be introduced to the public, they'll have these experiments. Well, they'll have a study group. Might be 10 people, maybe they give 5 people the experimental drug. They give 5 people what's called a placebo. Right, and what you'll notice is that people that get the placebo, which is just a fake, it might be a sugar pill, it might be nothing, right? They start healing. They start fucking healing. How? Right? They've even went so far as like people will come in with injuries. Let's say you have a knee injury. They'll give half of the people the real surgery. The other half, they'll just cut them, close them up. They won't do shit. And everybody starts healing. Why? Because people simply make a decision in their mind that they're healing. They make an absolute decision that they're healing. I've talked to people that have decided, okay, I'm going to start, every time I drink water, I'm going to lose weight. Every time I eat something, I'm going to, my pain is going to reduce. Or the part of me is going to heal more. Right? I've had people even say certain body parts on them were going to get bigger. Can insert whatever you think I'm talking about in there, and you're probably right. Right? And all of that happens simply by what? Them staying firm in their assumption. Staying firm in their assumption. Right? It absolutely works. It absolutely works. It absolutely works. And yes, you can manifest for somebody. Nobody in your reality has free will. You don't have to convince somebody to manifest their own dream life. You can just do it for them. For instance, my mother. Right? I tell y'all this story all the time. My mom had stage 4, had passed that stage 4 lung cancer. When we found out about it, it was years ago. About 3 years ago. The doctors were like, there's nothing we can do. She's gone. Enjoy your last couple months, right? And so I decided to see her as perfect. Long story short, she's cancer-free now. It took a while, but it was all the perfect unfolding of events that got her to the point where she's cancer-free. She had a 5-inch tumor in her lungs. 5-inch, right? And she's going, why? By simply seeing her, deciding to see her as perfect and healed. Deciding to see her as perfect and healed no matter what, right? So the law has no limits, right? This is what, Jesus was trying to tell us, show us. How did Jesus heal people? He didn't heal people by telling them, hey, go away and affirm. Right? Jesus represents you, your I am awareness. Jesus didn't tell them, all right, no, you have to be in a better mood. Go away and visualize. Go away and visualize, and then everything will be okay. No, he decided to see them as perfect in that moment. You don't have to do shit. I don't need you to even believe. I'm going to decide how this situation is going to unfold. This is the power that you have. Shoot, my mom was complaining all the time. All the time. I didn't care. I just sat there and I allowed her to complain. I was a good son. I didn't sit there and say, oh no, I got to keep my vibration high. You can't distract me. I got to keep... No. When she was feeling like that, I allowed her to be there. Do that. I was there for her. But guess what? When I walked away, I still decided to see her as perfect, whole, complete, healed. I looked at her through the eyes of devotion. When I look at my mom, I see nothing but God. When I look at her, I see nothing but God. And so it is. She is healed. It is done. It is done. What do I think about witchcraft? If it works, it works. So if it works, it works. Do I believe I can be influenced by it? Fuck no. Hell no. But if that's what makes you feel empowered, cool, go ahead and do it. Do I believe it's evil or something like that? Hell no. The world will try to tell you everything is evil except for if you believe Jesus is your Lord and Savior and came down here to die for your sins. Everything outside of that is evil. If you have a crystal in your front yard, apparently you worshiping Satan now if you got a crystal. Apparently it's the most demonic thing that you can do. Yeah, I go to nightclubs. I went to a nightclub in Vegas just the other day. Or last week, I was in the club in Vegas. Right, the world tries to not even just dump fear in everything. I once had a Christian tell me that knowing myself was demonic. Only God should know me. I said, my goodness. Wow. That was a good one. You shouldn't know yourself. That's demonic. Only God should know you. Okay. I'm not even going to debate with your ass. I'm not even going to debate with your ass. Hey, I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all being here. It all comes down to perspective, right? Like, what is good and evil except for our perspective? All that I'm saying is that those beliefs limit us. They limit us. They put this in a box. They put us in a box, and we walk around in fear. Even Scripture, even the Bible, even if you read it literally, it says perfect love casts out fear, right? But and even if you read it literally, when it starts talking about crystals and things like that, it's not talking about, even when it talks, there's so many things that the Bible talks about, but it simply talks about them as not being replacements for the divine. It doesn't talk about them from the perspective of don't use them. It says don't worship them, right? Which is the same core principle in almost all religions, is that there's one power, like this, that the power is God, right? But those things, if they help you to get closer to God, cool. The only reason I don't push them is because like y'all know, my message is about there's no intermediary. But if those things empower you, what the hell? If those things empower you, then don't let me stop you, right? Like, who am I to stop you from doing what empowers you to get your closeness to the divine? Who am I? I'm just one dude with a perspective. Well, I am God, though. But so are you. All right? But so are you. It didn't even feel right saying I'm just a dude. That didn't even feel fucking right. And it shouldn't feel right for you to say that about your damn self either. Right? You are the wholeness of God, the completeness of God. And whatever you do to step into that power and remind yourself of who you are is absolutely perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Where is the Most High? The Most High is within me. The Most High is me. Same, but the Most High is in you as well. Right? It's oneness, right? I don't believe in a big God, little God, none of that. It's all God. It's all God. Right? God is the fabric of reality. I don't speak of God as if I'm speaking of some being. I speak of God as if I'm speaking of the fabric of reality, existence itself, the infinite, all that there is, the Most High, just the substance of reality is God. God is everything. God animates every cell in your body, every cell in your breath, this desk, this cup, you, me, everything is God. No exceptions. The infinite. Infinite. There is nothing outside of God. So when I say God, this is what I mean. So when I say I am God, it's what I'm seated at the middle of God as God. Experiences itself. I am the awareness aware of itself. I am God aware of itself. And of course, every moment is a prayer. My silence is a prayer. The way I choose to see y'all when we communicate in these chats is a prayer. It's all a prayer. Eating, being present with the food is a prayer. Spending money, being present with the money is a prayer. It's all a prayer. It's all a prayer. Is it fair to say our bodies are the finite house of God? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. However, I want you to also remember, right? We think that consciousness is within the body. The body is within consciousness. Consciousness, who you are, is much too vast to be contained in this physical vessel. You're simply perceiving all that you are through the lens of one of infinite perspectives. Okay? It's you. So you're looking through all of it. You're looking at all of it as all of it. So we think that we're in the body. We're not. The body is in us. We think that we're in the world. We're not. The world is within you. You think that you're walking through time. You're not. Time is unfolding through you, through consciousness. Okay? It's all consciousness. Sure. I can pull up Isaiah 45:18. I love when y'all give me a little challenge. I shouldn't have pulled up the AI part in first. Let's read the full chapter. Thus saith the Lord to the, that's a long ways down from 18. Let's start at 16, 15. Verily thou art a God that hideth thyself. Verily thou art a God that hideth thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior. They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols, right? I think that part is pretty straightforward. But metaphysically, even if we looked at that, right? God is a God that hideth himself. Where is God hidden? In everything, right? This is that divine realization. When we walk through life and we begin to wake up into the remembrance that we are all that there is, that we are God, all right? So they shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. Let's Google confounded. Site cannot be reached. Used for emphasis, especially to express anger or annoyance. Interesting. Let me turn my light on. Can't see the keyboard, my bad, y'all. All right. So they shall be ashamed and also confounded. Confounded means used for emphasis, especially to express anger or annoyance. So they shall be ashamed, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols, right? When I think of idols, right, remember, metaphysically, I did not hear you read the verse or respond. I'm getting there. All right. So they shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. Remember, when we talk metaphysically about idols, we're talking about external circumstances, right? To worship the external circumstance and say, oh, it can't change because it's bigger than God is the same as worshiping a statue of a pig. It's the exact same thing. You're saying that this is greater than all that there is that is within you. All right. But Israel, right? The quote unquote chosen people. What does Israel represent? Metaphysically, it doesn't represent a people that are born in a certain place in the world, right? It represents what? Those who have what? Accepted who they are. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed, nor confounded, nor angry, world without end. For thus, and here's 18, for thus saith the Lord that created the heavens. Straightforward. God himself that formed the earth and made it. Straightforward. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else. Straightforward. All right. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together, ye that are escaped by the nations. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image, and pray unto a God they cannot save. All of this is simply pointing to God created this earth and hid himself in you to be found. And when you call God's name, you will not call it in vain. Point blank, period. Damn, y'all got to do hacks. Y'all got to do internet hacks just to get to me. My bad, y'all. Yeah, so that's how I see it. How I see it is just that all of this was created for God to be inhabited then. Right? He formed it to be inhabited. So we see right here that God created all of this. Okay? God created all of this. I am created all of this. And then what? Hid himself. All right? Hid himself. And the ones that remember who they are shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. They shall not be ashamed nor confounded nor confused or angry. All right? But the ones who don't find God, they will be confused and angry. Of course. Of course. Happy Valentine's Day. Every night's the 14th. I think that everything becomes a synchronicity and can become substance to you when you see the world through those righteous eyes, right? So when I see the world through the eyes of righteousness, and everything becomes a synchronicity, right? But why do synchronicities mean something to us? Because I can see a 333 on a license plate right now. I can go to Google and look up a bunch of stuff, and I can be like, hopefully, let me find the one that's about my SP. Yes, it means my specific person is coming back. What makes that true? Because I decided that is what was true, right? So I can make my own meaning for things. As y'all know, one of the things that has meaning to me is seeing Blue Jays. Anytime I see Blue Jays, I already know. I know that everything is working out for me, right? So, you can make a synchronicity out of everything. You are the synchronicity, right? Whatever appears out there appears simply within your consciousness. You decide what everything means. You decide what things means is working out. You decide what means it's not working out. It's all you. The challenge update. I started the challenge yesterday. I'll announce more about it tomorrow. No, I mean, I'm gonna start it for everybody next week sometime. 20 minutes a day Spanish. I can do that. You've been prepared. So the challenge is basically it's a 75 hard type challenge, except it's going to be until Christmas. And so I'll create a Telegram group for anybody who wants to join it. But what it's essentially going to be is, of course, I'm going to do the 75 hard, plus I'm doing some other things too. But it's only going to be for 58 days. I think 58 starting today, or 58 was starting yesterday, so it's like 56 days left. But basically, it's just getting a head start on the new year. It's just getting you to lock in, right? Some of y'all really need to lock in on or remembering who you are. That should be your only 75 hard challenges. For 75 days, I'm gonna remember who the hell I am. I'm gonna stop worrying about that stank ass, musty ass specific person, and I'm just gonna remember who I am. Just saying. That's what some of y'all should be doing. But let me pull it up. Actually, I really don't want to pull it up because I might notes on it. I don't want y'all to see my notes. Matter of fact, let me switch to the screen and I'll talk about it. All right. So basically, it's called 58 Days of Mastery, right? So every week is a different. It has a different purpose. So week 1 is about discipline and detox. Week 2 is silence and stillness. Week 3 is financial flow. Week 4 is leadership and vision. Week 5 is devotion and gratitude. 6 is power and presence. And number seven is celebration of mastery. 8 is integration and reflection, right? So I broke down everything into these weeks. Then there's tasks that I have to complete every day, right? So, of course, a 45-minute workout. Then outdoor movement for 30 minutes, right? Of course, I'm going to get the gallon of water, the reading 10 pages. Now, where I started to add my own things, which is what I'm going to encourage all of you to do, is every day is going to be a meditation. So it's setting an intention for that meditation. What is the intention of your meditation going to be for the next 58 days? Now, if you want to break it up in weeks or days, that's fine. But this is just something that I decided, right? So a meditation intention. Now I also have a financial action taken, which is studying a financial book, which is, studying a trading strategy, which is back testing, which is journaling, something financially focused, all right? The next one is I have to write down a lesson of the day. What did I learn today? Then I have to figure out what did I release today? Okay, and I have to have a moment of gratitude, and then one step that I took towards mastery. Also, I'm retaining, all right? So I'm not busting any nut, basically. So retention, and then, some other things that I'm focused on. So what? And I'll give y'all a Telegram link. I'll probably put it in my story. So, but yeah, I'll send out like daily reminders, things like that. But I'm probably gonna start it on. Didn't I say Monday? Damn, it's already Friday. Tuesday it is. All right, so I'll send out a reminder. Matter of fact, let me write it all out and I'll send it out tomorrow. I just haven't written it out. That's why I haven't talked about it. So I'll put it on Telegram with the link. Yeah, bro, it's already late. But then again, like I'm not gonna be. If you want to join like a weekend, 2 weeks in, don't really care, right? You can always join. So yeah, I'll put that out for y'all. So really, it's about just focusing in on these last couple months of the year. And just setting some goals for yourself, right? We're constantly talking about being and all this, but I do think in this process we still kind of forget to exist, like it's okay to still set goals and work and do all those things. So I do these types of challenges all the time because I like them. Last year I did one just with men. I had a men's group and we did the same thing. I think we did it for like 60 days, but I had a Telegram with just men. So this one will be different because it'll be anybody can join it. But it's also going to be flexible with goals. And the purpose, what would be cool is, you'll have some people in it that are better at working out than others. Maybe they can give a workout plan. You'll have some people that maybe they do, yoga or Pilates or something, or maybe some of them will have guided meditation. Who knows, right? You just never know where other people's skill sets can help. Maybe somebody has a diet that works for them, so they can, recommend a diet or something like that. So I think my focus now is just putting out content for the last however long I've been doing it, several months. And I think my focus next year is going to be more on community building. All right. How do I evolve? Okay, how do I evolve? Because it just accidentally happened to create a community on here, which is fucking cool, right? But, you're always trying to grow and push, okay? You're always trying to grow and push. And if you're interested in, I don't know. But this group's it's not going to be specific to men or women. It'll be anybody. The only thing though is, why I did it with men only the last time was because it was like, men, we could talk about about stuff as men amongst men, but now I'm doing it amongst everybody. So you have to monitor those kinds of things a little bit more closely and stuff like that. So it's you know how that shit is. Y'all know how that shit is. So yeah. What do I anchor into to draw more strength? Shit, myself, God. I meditate though. I meditate. I was, but I had some family stuff come up. So I'm not gonna go for like 2 weeks. All right, my beautiful people. All right, my beautiful people. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for getting on my ass about the challenge. I'll post more about it tomorrow. Maybe tonight. Probably not tonight. But I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And we shall talk very, very soon. Okay? Remember, you already are everything that you desire to be. It's already yours. Okay? It's already yours. Nothing can stop you from getting the life that you want except for you. Don't get in your own way. Allow everything to be what it is. Know it's unfolding perfectly, right? Exactly, my love. We are all in this together. Exactly, my love. We are all in this together, right? I am that I am no matter what. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. All right, peace.